Good morning, everyone. So we'll be starting in 4 minutes. So we're waiting for all our attendees to connect. Thanks for joining us for today's webinar. We'll wait for some few minutes before starting. I remind you that this webinar is also live translated in French. So on the Zoom control bar, you have the option, the box interpretation, to choose between French and English. So thank you very much for joining us for today's webinar, which is being organized by Dataxis and sponsored by Intelsat. So we will let all the attendees connected. In the meantime, we'll have a short video of Intelsat. Thank you very much for your attention. So we'll now move to today's agenda. So for today, we'll be discussing about Intelsat global video distribution, which will be done by Kristen Mayer, Senior Key Account Director at Intelsat. Then Paul Ware, Senior Sales Director Intelsat, will talk about Intelsat footprint in the African broadcasting media landscape. Then we'll have a fireside chat about the changing video landscape in sub-Saharan African country. So which will be, for which we will have Kristen Mayer and Rob Reed, Senior Principal Manager at Intelsat. Then Rob will give us an overview of how ways to distribute your channel more efficiently. And then we'll have the Q&As. I remind you that during all the session of today's session, so you have on the Zoom control bar the Q&As box. So feel free to drop us your question during this webinar, and that this question will be answered at the end of this webinar. And also, I remind you that we have this webinar is also translated simultaneously in French. So on the Zoom control bar, you have the option to change, to choose the language, either French or English. And also the recording will be available. I see a lot of questions regarding the video recording. So the recording will be available tomorrow on our website. So to start, I'll give the hand to Crystal Mayer from Intelsat for her welcoming speech, and also to talk about Intelsat global video distribution. Crystal, you have the floor.
Thank you. Good morning and welcome from the Intelsat team to the second webinar in our series about free-to-air DTH platforms in Africa. I am the Senior Sales Director at Intelsat, looking after the media business unit for Sub-Saharan Africa. And in today's session, we would look at how Intelsat can help broadcasters in this region reach more audiences, improve efficiencies, and of course, save costs. I'd like to start off with a bit of a recap from yesterday. Priscilla, I just want to ask you in terms of sharing the screen, could you maybe just put the deck on? Or actually, let me first do the recap and then, because I don't have the ability to actually toggle the slides at the moment. So maybe just while we wait for that, I'll quickly do a recap for yesterday. So in the webinar, we received an analyst view of the state of the free-to-air DTH potential in English-speaking Africa. This was presented by Priscilla from Data Access, and it was particularly interesting to see the structure of TV forecasts by number of households in the next 5 years. This research has also highlighted that Africa is one of the fastest growing television audiences globally. We've seen an increasing number of free-to-air offerings deployed using DTH as a primary route to market, where DTH were traditionally seen as more an enabler for major pay TV operators. We also invited panelists from various media organizations in Africa to talk about key trends and technical challenges in this market. And one of the important trends that were highlighted, of course, was the acceleration of the adoption of digital technologies, whether that be DTT, DTH, and of course, aspirations for OTT. Some of them have launched OTT already. And some of the challenges that have been identified, of course, the first one, the effects of COVID. We've seen a reprioritization of funds within the public sector specifically, which will delay DSO projects in certain markets. Access to infrastructure is also an issue due to travel restrictions. Another issue that was highlighted was the volatility in the exchange rate, which really impacts the cost of infrastructure and maintaining infrastructure, as most of this infrastructure is really procured in either dollars or euros. We also chatted about some of the limitations of DTT, such as limited audience reach, and of course, the cost of infrastructure goes up on DTT if you need to reach a larger audience population. We then spoke about the challenges in procuring compelling content to attract eyeballs. And then finally, the lack of credible audience measurement, which is necessary to attract advertising spend. So today's session will be specifically focused on how Intelsat can help broadcasters maximize the opportunity of free-to-air channel distribution. And to kick this off, I'd like to start off with a high-level overview of the Intelsat global organization and some of the good work that we have been doing for our global customers. And I want to remind you, please don't forget about the Q&A. You can use the Zoom control bar just to raise your questions, and then at the end, we will answer some of these questions. Priscilla, if you don't mind, that I don't have access to that first slide, so maybe if you can share your screen.
Okay.
I'm having an issue sharing it on my side and toggling the slides.
Okay, can you please give me the hand, Crystal?
No problem.
Here you go.
Okay, you can go to the next slide and then the next slide. Thank you. Okay, Intelsat is the foundational architect of satellite technology. And we say that, first of all, is because we are the world's first global satellite operator. And today we maintain a global fleet of 50 plus satellites covering 90% of the Earth's populated regions, which makes us the largest operator in terms of revenue, capacity, and geographic reach. We are heavily invested in Africa for media, as well as broadband connectivity and a number of applications for mobility. Priscilla, the next slide, please. This particular slide provides more details on how our 50 plus satellites are positioned. It also highlights our extended Intelsat One network, which includes fiber and teleport services. Intelsat's proven high quality network can deliver HD content today, but it's also capable of delivering 4K and 8K content through our premier video neighborhoods in Africa and around the world. Thousands of organizations serving billions of people worldwide rely on Intelsat to provide ubiquitous video broadcasting, broadband connectivity, and various mobility applications. In Africa, we have more than 20 satellites in service across the region for both media and network connectivity, MNOs being a major component of our customer base. MultiChoice is one of our largest customers in the region, and they have relied on our services to deliver both DTT and DTH services for multiple countries to serve more than 15 million households. Next slide, thank you, Priscilla. What we are really good at would be distributing video, both globally and in Africa. Today, we distribute more than 6,000 channels to 500 million households globally. This particular slide highlights the 37 video neighborhoods. A large number of these are actually DTH, and most of these are serviced by our global teleport facilities. Please can you pass to the next slide. Before closing off my section of the presentation, I wanted to spend a few moments to talk about our capability in reaching the diaspora. Many of our nationals have either moved to another region or temporarily stationed in another market. There is a demand for Africa content to reach a very large contingent of African nationals. Intelsat has platforms in place that can take national channels to any of the major continents. Galaxy Postcards, or G19, is undoubtedly one of our most successful. This platform reaches the US multicultural community where Africans have resettled. 90% of that content is free to air, and it's delivered via a DTH platform. It carries the largest number of ethnic channels in the United States and offers broadcasters a really unique alternative to reach the diaspora. Galaxy 19 provides a complete coverage of the continental United States, Canada, Alaska, and Hawaii as well. I now want to hand over to Paul Roer. He is our Senior Sales Director and based in our Kenya office. Paul's presentation will bring it a little bit closer to home and focus on our capability for Africa specifically. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you, Crystal. So, Paul, you have the floor now.
Thank you, Priscilla. Thanks, Crystal, for such an elaborate feedback on what we did yesterday. Just highlighting on the Africa side, Intelsat is present in Africa, been here for more than 20 years, serving the African market, and both on the networks and the broadcast or media sector. So when we just look on the media sector, we know that Africa is actually the world's fastest growing broadcast in the broadcast sector. It's been projected by 2025 to have over 45 million pay TV subscribers in Africa, in sub-Saharan Africa, and maybe just in the next 2 years, that's by 2022, we are looking at around 162 million TV households in sub-Saharan Africa. Still with this projection, we still have a great opportunity because approximately 70% of the African households are not yet reached by the TV. And this presents us with an opportunity to work together with our partners in actually bridging this gap by providing DT direct to home, which is DTH, DTT, and OTT platforms and solutions to serve the African market. Next slide, please. In Africa, our customers range from national broadcasters and private broadcasters, including both the established broadcasters and also the new entrants into market. Looking at the growing nature of the African broadcast sector, we have a lot of new players that are coming in, and Intelsat, because of our experience in the market, we've worked with established and also working with the upcoming broadcasters to ensure that they attain their business goal in providing free air, DTH services, and pay TV platforms, and also OTT solutions. Being a growing market, so one of the areas that is actually creating a great interest is free-to-air platforms, and a lot of upcoming channels that are coming in and broadcasters that are saying, think, what do we need to do to build up free-to-air new platforms, and such resources are already positioned well to enable our customers do that. Next slide. We've got resources both on satellite and also ground resources like teleports that we've got globally to be able to use that to serve our customers. We've got just over 50 satellites that has already been mentioned by Crystal, of which almost 20 of them are located over Africa, serving the region. This already shows the investment and the great interest of Intelsat to serve the African market, getting actually carrying over 6,000 channels worldwide, 900 in Africa, with 7 video neighborhood focused in Africa. With our free-to-air DTH platforms, we've got the IS-20, which I'll be highlighting just in the next presentation, but also growing neighborhoods like IS-28 in Ghana and the West Africa, and also IS-17 that is starting to come up as new neighborhoods for DTH free-to-air platform. We also have a C-band wider beams platforms that are actually being used with most of our customers for contribution of their video and radio services in the region, both in Africa and also delivering signal beyond Africa. We also starting to, because of the innovation that we're developing in, leveraging our new generation throughput satellites to deliver video. And this is bringing up an important aspect of hybrid platforms or hybrid networks in the broadcasting sector, just to serve the African market. In the next slide, I'll just be showing the aspects of our premium IS-20 KU band platform, located at 68.5 degrees east. This is a premium DTH free-to-air covering sub-Saharan Africa, serving all genres of content providers in all sorts of channels, and with the 5 key markets that are being addressed by these neighborhood, to mention just is Ethiopia, Nigeria, Kenya, Tanzania, and even South Africa. These are platforms that we will say carries the premium free content on the DTH and growing to be able to give you over 40 million TV households reaching Africa. And this being a KU band platform, we also, as I mentioned earlier, we've got the newer platforms that are coming in, and to be able to serve more of also specific local market like IS-17, mostly targeting around the Eastern Africa, and IS-28 for the Western Africa. In the next slide, we see our C-band platforms. It's not just only the KU band platform that we use for DTH distribution, but also we've got the C-band platform that is a growing neighborhood for content contribution, both video and TV, serving markets with more countries in Kenya, Tanzania, East Africa, and also beyond the eastern part of Africa. And these are growing platform located at 72 degrees east. C-band West Hemi is a hot satellite performing with high efficiencies and growing neighborhood with key broadcasters, both national and also leading private broadcasters in the region that are using this Intelsat platform to be able to deliver their content to the market. So beyond just the platforms that we have in satellite, Intelsat works to deliver more than just the satellite capacity. When you work with our customers, what we do is we work as a partner to see that as they venture into new technologies of solution delivery or service offering, Intelsat plays a role in it. And in the next slide, is just highlight, but part of our value in partnership with Intelsat. We've worked with broadcasters, and we still do the same to deliver content in multiple formats, be SD, HD, UHD, and also be able to give you a quicker rollout into new markets, because the leveraging of our presence with platforms that are available. We are also able to deliver to you. Just give me the points to reach largest viewership, because we've got platforms that have got a bigger neighborhood, so it's easy for you to reach viewership in more markets faster. And with our efficient, redundant platforms, we're able to give you 100% coverage of your population, both on a DTH solution and also using the same to penetrate in cities through DTT and OTT delivery. So working with Intelsat doesn't just the access of satellite, but we put you in the forefront of innovation, because we are an innovative company working on solutions that are beyond satellite. We deliver value. We build up integrated solutions and provide services to customers. So thank you very much. And
thank you very much, Paul. We'll now move to our fireside chat. So I'll be asking the first question to Rob Reed. So mobile, we yesterday's session we received question about this, so wanted to address that today. So mobile network operators are facing a lot of challenges today of delivering a high volume of video content while maintaining the high quality experience expected by viewers, all while managing costs and keeping them to a minimum. So how are companies like Intelsat helping to solve the connectivity challenges and also the gap in the middle and the last mile of distribution? Rob?
Well, good morning. So let's talk a little bit more about the challenge first. So in 2019, about 60% of the traffic on the internet was video. By 2022, this is expected to grow to over 82%. Over 53% of this content is consumed on mobile devices, and this is growing at an average of 30% year on year. And even with the advancements of compression like HEVC, the migration of content from SD to HD, and now starting to go over to UHD, the amount of data consumption is starting to balloon. Given all the content being generated, the SVOD libraries are growing by around 6% year on year. Streaming services have revolutionized how we watch TV and consume content. We tend to like to watch content whenever we want and wherever we want. In some parts of the world, OTT has actually overtaken traditional pay TV type services. This highlights a major shift in people's viewing habits. So to keep pace with this rising demand for content, it's crucial that service providers such as Intelsat are able to deliver it both seamlessly and cost effectively. They must also evolve and look beyond traditional means of connectivity. So how do we deliver all this content at a reasonable cost, especially in largely unconnected regions like Africa? Satellite is known for its efficiency and stability to distribute content to multiple locations simultaneously. By installing an edge cache at a cell tower, content can be multicast over satellite and be stored locally. This effectively bypasses the middle mile to improve reliability and stability, and this also reduces the costs of constantly upgrading your fiber networks. Having the content stored much closer to the user also improves the quality of experience as you're able to deliver higher bit rates. Satellite's ability to deliver multicast is unrivaled and is integral to successful content distribution. With Intelsat's Edge video product being developed, it's able to address one of the most significant challenges mobile operators are facing by delivering bandwidth and intensive content such as OTT and live to the edge of the mobile network, and this highly efficient economics enabled by satellite multicast and edge compute technologies. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Rob. So Paul, during your presentation, you talk about the hybrid network. So how can broadcasters expanding audience reach with this new innovation? You are mute.
Okay, thank you. So when you talk about the hybrid networks, and the first thing to maybe just try and look at is what inspires the hybrid network? What makes the broadcasters want to venture into hybrid? And the most common need is the cost efficiency. Most broadcasters will want to see that as they expand to reach their audience, they're also doing it in a way that is cost efficient. And so Intelsat, in our innovation and our new generation EPIC, which satellites, which are high throughput satellites, are able to offer these benefits of and efficiencies. Looking just at the first three things that a broadcaster would look at while they want to do hybrid network is bandwidth efficiency. They want to look about the cost of capex investment on ground segment and also equipment that is required for it, and also the operational cost. So looking at how you can be able to use the Intelsat EPIC high throughput satellites for this is whereby you're able to save on the cost that it will be required for all that, because our EPIC satellites have the capability of improving your efficiencies and resulting in a reduced bandwidth that is required, and also with a cross-connect capability, which enables an interswitch between C-band and Ku-band satellite beams. This is a great motivation to broadcasters, because you can be able to still use the same ground segment of C-band going up and may turn the beam into Ku-band coming down. So you're able to save on capex that is required on that, and also reduce the operational costs by maintaining the sites that are there. So when you combine all these with compression technologies, the customer is able to achieve more at a cost-efficient way, and be able to grow their services either by increasing the number of channels that they're offering because of the reduced capacity, so they can get more channels with lesser than before, and they can also reach new markets, deliver signal to additional territories to reach more audience using the same type of resource that they were using before. So looking at the cost factor here and the technology that Intelsat presents with our high throughput satellites, the EPIC satellites, this gives the required output for hybrid networks.
Thank you very much, Paul. So, Crystal, yesterday we have seen that broadcasters are under continuous financial pressure. So how can Intelsat assist with new business model to assist broadcasters to scale or to modernize?
Okay. Well, since our broadcasters are buying capacity already, we would like to assist with bundling other requirements into the same contract, like a one-stop shop for all your media distribution requirements, whether that be technical, commercial, or maybe even marketing assistance. There's actually 3 examples that I want to highlight. On our IS-28 video neighborhood, we assisted a new customer by bundling a uplink infrastructure as well as a beacon channel. Now, the beacon channel was to create some awareness and also attract some new audiences. So we were supporting that particular customer to just grow his audience numbers. Another example would be our offering on the IS-17 video neighborhood, specifically for East Africa. Here we are able to assist customers with a managed service that includes contribution. You can even choose package channels to be included into that. We do the uplinking for you for satellite distribution. And if you'd like, also a OTT mobile application. So once you deliver your content to us, we are able to distribute that content to both a satellite platform as well as an IP platform. And another example is where we've assisted customers to transform to the hybrid network. That would be what Paul was talking about in the previous question, where you are able to use one C-band uplink and downlink in both a C-band and Ku-band service. With this particular solution, broadcasters are able to reach 100% of their population without the need of rolling out more DTT transmitters. So we are able to then bundle with your capacity costs, your transition into a hybrid network that will deliver that benefit.
Thank you very much, Crystal. So I remind our attendee that if you have any question, you can drop that in the Q&A's box. So before moving to Rob, I'll just share my screen. Okay. So I now invite Rob to talk about another innovation from Intelsat, and also ways to distribute your channel more efficiently. Rob.
Thanks. I'm the product development manager for our media products at Intelsat. And so we've been working over the past few months and, in order to make it easier for customers to access our teleports in alternate ways. So that's what I'll be sort of talking about now. And Priscilla's going to help me with the slides here. So Priscilla, if you could please advance. Next. So imagine you're a customer and you're trying to launch a channel on our Intelsat 20 direct-to-home platform in order to reach a sub-Saharan African audience. How would you get your content into the platform? Imagine you'd also like to put that on our Galaxy 19 direct-to-home platform over CONUS in order to reach the diaspora. How would you do that? Next slide. Typically, customers would use dedicated fiber to reach our teleports. Depending on where you're located, even with our partners around the world, it can be prohibitively expensive in order to do that. Next slide. So now you can use the internet in order to deliver your signal to our teleports. This could be a single channel that we include in one of our MCPC platforms, or it could be a bouquet of channels which goes into its own dedicated uplinks. This is Intelsat's first unmanaged internet connectivity solution where you have full flexibility on how you send your signals to our teleports. Next slide. So we've tried to make this as easy as possible. You essentially choose a teleport you want to get to, and then you choose the protocol that you want to use in order to protect it as it is transferred over the internet. There are a number of factors that could influence your choice of protocol, things such as cost. Some protocols are free because they're open source. Others are proprietary, and so they're charged at a $1 per gigabyte or a $1 per streamed rate. Management's another consideration. Some of these solutions are totally unmanaged. Others are bundled with a fully managed solution. And then the number of channels. With one channel, you could use something as simple as an encoder with an embedded protocol to stream the channel. If you're wanting to do a bouquet of channels, it might be a little bit more complex. And I'll demonstrate this in our next slide using an example. So say you're located in Accra, Ghana. You would like to put your channel in the MCPC on Intelsat 20. Typically, you'd reach out to a fiber provider to get a quote. You realize that that is prohibitively expensive, which makes using the internet a lot more attractive. Since this is only a single channel, you decide to purchase something like a high vision encoder to encode the channel. You'll wrap it in SRT since it's a free protocol, and you stream it out over the internet. We'll receive that directly at our Fuxdot teleport. We'll convert that into a format that is compatible with the MCPC platform. We'll then multiplex that with other channels and then put that up on satellite. It's that simple. I know I talked a lot about sending a channel to the teleport, but this actually works in both directions as well. For instance, if you'd uplink this on our Galaxy 19 platform, you can't see the downlink in Africa. And so we're able to use this technology to downlink that channel and send it back to you as a confidence return feed. Or say you're wanting to aggregate content from other regions of the world into a platform you're locally uplinking from, say, the Caribbean. You could pull a channel in from the Caribbean over the internet and include it into your bouquet that you're launching. So it's a great product, and as I say, it's very flexible and will make it a lot easier for you to connect to our teleports and services using the internet. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rob. Well, now, so I invite you to send your question for the Q&A session. So we have a first question. For existing broadcasters in Kenya using C-band, is it possible to make aggregated content available on KU band, such as Standard Group and Radio Africa, that contribute content to Bamba DTT with a network of existing KU band dishes in the field? So what is the cost implication of this rerouting from CU band to KU band? So maybe Paul can answer this question.
I would say yes, and the cost will be manageable. So details of the costing we can always present, but yes, this is very much possible, and we'll pick it up.
Thank you very much, Paul. So do we have any other questions? So maybe in the meantime, Crystal, you can do a roundup and a closing remark from what we discussed today, a wrap-up of what we discussed today in today's session.
Okay, good. Thank you very much, Priscilla. Yes. So today's session was all about how we can, as Intelsat, help broadcasters with the free-to-air channel distribution opportunity. Now, traditionally, broadcasters would have to have the expense of building their own uplink, employing the required resources, acquiring the required channels, which can be very costly, specifically if you have to do that in US dollars. And I think the fundamental message from today would be to talk to us, because there are various aspects of the media value chain that we would be able to assist you with, and that we can bundle into a single contract. We have various partners across Africa that enables us to do that. And you know, we look forward to talking to you on how we would be able to assist you with that. Let me just have a look and see if any more questions has come through. There was actually quite a number of questions that came through yesterday. What we will be doing is we will be reaching out to those audience members directly and, you know, answer their questions. A copy of today's webinar will be made available after the event. And Priscilla, there's nothing more from my side.
So thank you very much to all our panelists. So before we end this webinar, so I'll invite you for a quick video of Intelsat. So thank you very much for your presence today. So I remind you that the recording will be available on our website tomorrow, and feel free to contact the Intelsat team for every question that you have, and question that could not be answered yesterday will be replied individually to those who asked for question. And then thank you very much for your time, and see you soon. Have a lovely day.
Thank you.
Bye.